going to demonstrate today how I use my power plate as added insurance against osteopenia and osteoporosis, in other words, bone loss. So there are many uses for the power plate. We're going to focus on bone density today. So whether you are lifting heavy or as heavy as you safely can, and you're able to do high impact exercise, some of you may want an additional insurance policy.
A review of the literature published in 2018 in Medicine concluded, looking at 10 different studies, that whole body vibration increases lumbar and hip bone density.
Some of you may have a special condition and may not be able to lift heavy due to arthritis, due to another special condition, and may not be able to get impact. So you're looking for something else. What can I do when I cannot do those things? It's appropriate for all of us. So I'm going to demonstrate in my stocking feet. Now, you can be on the power plate in shoes. There is a handy pad. This is the power plate move. It's the optimal, I think. So if I had shoes on, I would just take this off. I don't need this extra little padding. This is just going to help me from slipping. Now, for noise purposes, I don't have it turned on, but I am demonstrating here what it's like. Now, if it were vibrating, you would not see me vibrating. You're not going to see that. It's just I'm feeling it. You might hear it in my voice a little bit. Okay, so according to a study, a Ruan study, and I will list the science down below, there were 4 exercises that are really key. So what you know about bone density, ideally you know this. There are what we call osteozones. The most likely to fracture places tend to be the hip joint. That's number 1. The spine, and then the wrist. And the wrist because generally we catch ourselves falling. We go down on that, and that's what gets hurt. If we don't do that, we don't get there soon enough, often a fall will cause a hip issue. But also there are upper back problems that tend to happen. So fractures to the spine tend to happen upstairs where the vertebra gets smaller. So when we do vibrational exercise, we are going to probably most have the impact come from the floor upstairs. It's going to lose some of its intensity as it comes up. So if you're doing the whole body vibration using a power plate or other tool, you're going to get some benefit to your upper spine, your upper vertebral column, or what we call this area here where ordinarily you might get kyphosis in that thoracic spine. You're going to get some benefit, but probably not as much as you're getting right here to your heel, to your knee, and to your hip. So just to be aware of that. So what we're going to do is mimic the exercises that were done in this study and talk a little bit at the end about the cycles of exercise and how much is ideal, how much is too much, and how much is too little. Okay, the first exercise is a squat. So there's 2 things you can do. You can either perform the squat in a movement. So if I'm going up and down, this is the cycle of work. So we're coming up and down and just moving through that. Or I can hold that still and do the 30 to 60 seconds here statically, or we can come up and down where you can get a pet. But no matter what, good form is really paramount. So turning to the side just so you can see it. This is good form. Weights back on my heels. I can wiggle my toes. Tailbone is back. Small arch to my back. Chest and shoulders are up. This is not good form, and I want you to see the difference. I'm forward. My weight is on the balls of my feet. That means I feel pressure in my knees. My back is a little more rounded. I'm kind of just forward flexing here. Not good form. See the good form again? Do it with me and come back up. So if you were to hold this position for a few seconds, it's going to be different for each of you. But as you do this, you should begin to feel the work here in the glutes, here in the holding. Yes, you're working your quads, but if you have your weight back on your heels, balls of your feet and toes just for balance, you're in better shape. That's exercise 1. Number 2, I'm going to have you do what's called just a abduction or lateral lift. So we can move this leg out to the side, up and down, or again, we could simply do a static hold. So the key would be, let's not bend over and come back. Let's not get over and lift, but let's stay as upright as possible. And the motion you can do will be determined by that. So I could go higher, but you'll see I cheat when I do that. It's simply just coming up and down, okay? And if you struggle with balance, just turn yourself to the side. Have something that you can use here to improve your balance. While you're standing, you're working on this hip. This medial glute muscle is lifting you, and this medial glute muscle is statically holding you. So you've got a little work going on both ways, and your core is also activated. So that's the second one. Obviously, you've got to do both sides and take a rest in between, okay? Next, we're going to do what's called a heel raise. Just exactly like it sounds. You're basically coming up to your tippy toes and then coming back down. Just like the other two, you're going to lift up and come back down. Lift up and come back down. Lift up, come back down. Or alternatively, you can lift up and stay up. Now I'm going to need fingers on the wall in order to do that, and most of us will. But holding this, hold that position 15 to 30 seconds, and then recover. So resting in. And last but not least is hip flexion. So believe it or not, you're going to stand on one leg again. Remember what's happening here is as you push down with your heel as the base of support on one leg, that leg is getting the vibration. Actually, this is the working leg. But you're also getting some work here with this hip flexion. So what you're doing is bringing the leg up, holding it statically, or you can again go into the movement. What I want you to do, if possible, is put a hand for support, but don't put weight down on this leg. So you can either tap it or you can maintain this lift. And if you want more resistance, you can come up here. And I'm getting resistance in both sides. How nice for me. So remember the work cycle. You're going to do one on either side. So you could do 15 seconds, or slightly longer. The work cycles go like this. The work cycles are either 30 seconds to 60 seconds, depending on your stamina, your strength. What are you able to do? Most of you will probably be fine going up to 60 seconds, especially for something that's right side and left side with the squats. For instance, you may be able to do that for 60 seconds. Then you're going to rest for the equal amount of time. So you're going to do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds of recovery, or 60 seconds on and 60 of recovery. For memory's sake, that's going to be the easiest way to remember it. So now here's what the studies are telling us. That there's a sweet spot where we get enough stimulus, but we don't get too much. Apparently the bone, as well as the rest of us, needs recovery time. So doing more, going longer, or thinking I'll do it in the morning and I'll do it at night and get more will backfire on you. Individuals who did more actually got less or reduced result. So the sweet spot is one of two things: 10 minutes, 5 days a week. And so, of course, yes, you could do that Monday through Friday, or you can break it up in another way. You will have days where you're doing it back to back. But unlike going to complete muscle fatigue in a strength training workout, you don't need that kind of recovery. So you're going to get off, and ideally, whole body vibration actually energizes. You should feel good when you finish, all over, really. And you'll have a higher vibrational feel all day. So 5 days, 10 minutes each, and that's a 10-minute work cycle. If you'd rather do fewer days a week, just to make sure that you get it in with a hectic schedule, you might choose to do 3 days a week and do 15 minutes. So those are your two options. 3 days, 15 minutes, 5 days, 5 minutes. Those proved both to be very good for getting beneficial results for bone density. Here's where the questions most commonly come in. Is that 10 minutes of work, is that the on the plate and the recovery off of the plate, or is that only the work interval? Excellent question, and I hope you were thinking about that. So here's the answer. What you're gonna do is turn the plate on. The power is on, the vibration is going. You're gonna step on and do your minute, and then you're going to step off of the platform and pause it. So you're only counting 10 minutes is the time in contact with the plate, or 15 minutes in contact with the plate. So as you go through these 4 exercises, you can choose to do them each for 2 or 3 minutes at a time and then move on to the next one, or you could cycle through each of them and then just repeat it more in a circuit style. So you're doing the squat and the lateral leg lift, the hip flexion and the heel raise, and then going through that cycle entirely again. So remember that your time, 10 and 15 minutes, refers to the time you're in contact with the plate. So if you're putting the timer at it's set for 10 minutes, you want to pause it when you get off to rest and recover. Hope that's clear. All right, now I'd love your questions. First of all, I have one for you. Do you have a power plate? If you're interested, I'll share my link down below, and I'll share how you can get 20% off. What's your concern about bone density and exercises that you're doing that will have the most positive influence on bone density? Don't forget to subscribe if this has been helpful. Check down below for additional resources.